guys, and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have another deck video for you guys where I'm going to be joined by Bubblebox and SilverRaptor. Please make sure that you check out Bubblebox's channel in the description below, and if you want more videos like this, then please make sure you also check out the playlist that will be linked below. In this video, we're going to be going through our decks, our deck selection, and the reason for our unit choices. And in this one, we're going to be looking at the Danish deck after previously looking at the Swedish deck. To start off, we have SilverRaptor talking us through his logistics units.
Alright, first off, my philosophy was to fob, so we'll move on. For the command, I got the M113A1 FFC, kind of like APC truck. I got this as a command because it kind of looks like most standard APCs, so some people who might just see the shadow of it, not be able to identify it as a command, might shrug it off and think, oh, that's just a regular APC, and they won't really priority fire it, I guess. But also I get 6 of them, so I can disperse them pretty well across the map.
Okay.
Then I also got the Jupiter trucks because they carry more. I got 2 cards of them.
Oh, cool. All right. And that's it, yeah? Just 4 sections. Okay, what about you and Vulcan?
I have the same APC command, the M113. Yeah, just, you know, generic good APC for command usage. And then I have a card of the Stabstilling infantry in the Lynx, and the Lynx is a really good helicopter, 200 or 300 kilometer per hour speed, so very fast and good. I like to have my versatile infantry to put into
I'm nodding along with you
that
here
you might not
one.
otherwise be able to get into. The Lynx just makes it perfect. Then I have the Jupiters as well. The Unimog cargo is such a useless car, like such a useless truck.
Not even
500 supply. 500 supply. Why would you take that? But yeah, the 1,100 supply of the Jupiter definitely worth having.
Well, in mine, I've got the Unimog cargoes. No, not really. I haven't. I've got the Jupiters.
I was going to slap you.
I've got 2 cards of the Jupiters and a fob for my supply. No helicopter, really disappointing. But I've got the Stabsdillings in the Lynx as well, same as Vulcan. And I've got that armoured truck CV as well, exactly the same as you guys. Why would you not get that? You could go for the Jeep. It's only 10 points more than the Jeep, and you get like all that, a bit of armour and a little bit of a weapon and strength of
so
10,
much durability.
And why would you go for the Centurion, which would never get anywhere before the game ends, basically, with a speed of 35 kilometers per hour.
9 front armor, but then again, you're not really going to be having to fight other tanks.
No, so. it's just really slow. I mean, it's just really slow.
And terrible autonomy too.
Yeah, that's my logistics. So let's move on to the infantry with Vulcan.
Right. To start off, I have 2 cards of FKPs. I have 1 in MD Jupiters and 1 in Lynxes, mainly so that I can have one more versatile than the other. The MD Jupiters would be just standard ground pushing, and the Lynx would be for flanking attacks, maybe, stuff like that. Then to follow up, I have 2 cards of Livgarden 85s in the M113Gs. May as well get the M113G over the M11A3 because they cost the same and the M113G is better. Then the final card I have is the Dragonair in the M113A1. Now, the reason I don't have those in the M113G is because you only get 2 M113Gs, so I had to bring them in those instead.
Okay, cool. So you didn't go for any man pads in this deck?
No, well, the thing is with the infantry in the Danish is that they are actually pretty strong. Like the FKP are really good for their 35 points. They're elite infantry. They have a CQC machine gun with 45% accuracy. They have the 60% accuracy and 30% stabilizer main gun, very similar to like the Kustjägers, which will actually cost 5 more on the Swedish deck. The Liv Garden 85s, you know, they get the MG3, very, very strong machine gun with high suppression. So another really good infantry unit with 60% accuracy again on their assault rifle, 60% accurate Carl Gustav as well. Really strong AT weapon. And then the Dragoners, again, they cost the same as, I think, the Hevan.
The militia. We'll just call them the militia.
Yeah. The militia, basically, yeah. They cost the same as the militia. You get the same amount of them, but they're just better. So you may as well take the Dragoners, and you do get a lot of them because this is a national deck, and you get high availability. And that's also the reason that I have all my cards as like upgraded. I think. Well, I don't have the FKPs upgraded, but I have the Liv Gardens upgraded to veteran, and I have the Dragoners upgraded. Actually, no, I don't. Mainly because I wanted more of them.
Sure. Okay. What about you then, Silver?
Whenever I bring in elite infantry, I hate bringing them in trucks and helicopters that don't have a gun on them, because then those vehicles that don't share any bonus on having the higher veterancy rank of bringing in. So I got one stack of FKPs and Lynxes, and I got them as elite basically because they are really good. It's basically sort of a take and hold behind enemy lines condition. And also the reason why I only got 8 of them is because I have just already a lot of stacks of infantry in this deck. I got the regular Liv Gardens rather than the Liv Gardens 85, and that's because they're 5 points cheaper, and the only difference is that they have just a very, very, very slightly weaker anti-tank gun, which still serves all the purpose it needs. So I got them in the 20.1 because they're cheaper.
Yep.
I got 2 of those hardened. They're very good for defending. And now I actually got the militia because I could get 45 of them. And this is basically my assault infantry. I'm throwing these into villages. I'm throwing these into villages for having tanks and vehicles, fire at the buildings, whatever fires back at them, because their primary, their SMG is the same accuracy and stabilizer, so they don't really lose their effectiveness moving. And they still got a very good light machine gun for if they actually get into that building. So that was my thought.
Well, they're moving at 15 kilometers per hour.
Yes, but to be fair,
which is really slow.
Their purpose is just to reveal the enemy so that I can shoot the enemy. They're really disposable. That's all militia is.
Okay. All right. Is that it for your infantry?
I also got the LLRKT M93s, basically because they have the Stinger missile.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the highest accurate manpad squad in the game.
70%.
Because that 70% accuracy is actually incredible. But again, they lack the range that more decent like RBS squads have. So yeah, they are good for their accuracy, but they lack in range.
Right.
Yeah, I've got very similar infantry to you guys with some subtle differences. I mean, it would be because there's not massive choice. No one went for the Illustolator groupers, I noticed, nor did I. But I got 2 FKPs, one in Lynx, one in No Jupiters, exactly the same as Vulcan. I went for the Liv Garden as well, but I went for the normal 1980 ones as well. Again, because I was tempted, but it's just a toss-up. You want to pay an extra 5 points for 2 AP power on your RPG. That was all really. I decided against it. And then I got the manpads as well.
Yeah, in hindsight, like the normal Liv Garden are definitely better for their value for money. That was just an oversight by me.
Yeah, you can swap them out. We'll let you.
I'll do it later.
Right. Moving on to the support. Whoever's going to go on the support.
I guess that's me. First off, the first thing that everyone has to grab is the Eotis Hawks. Because they're basically anti-aircraft missiles that are not radar.
Yeah, amazing unit, I think.
So
why aren't they radar though? Why aren't they? I don't understand.
They use a different guidance system to standard radar AA. I don't know what EOTS stands for. I can't remember, but it's like electro something.
Okay, so these are a real thing in real life then. That's,
Yeah,
right,
they
okay.
basically have like a tracking system that doesn't relate to the position of the thing that fires it.
Maybe it's the missile itself that releases the radar.
Oh, that's it. It's an electro-optical tracking system.
Right. Yeah, and when they brought the DLC out, I just thought it was a mistake in the stats. I honestly did,
No,
but obviously it's not.
It tracks the aircraft rather than it's sort of like a fire and forget missile, rather than it has the same characteristics as a fire and forget rather than a guided missile.
Right.
That's why it can't be tracked back and isn't classed as a radar that can be hit by seed.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. And then, of course, I also grabbed the automatic because this is a very interesting flak radar AA. Pretty accurate, has a really good range against helicopters and airplanes, yeah, it can take out most things, especially ground support, which is 12 AP power.
Yeah, its only enemy is seed, really. It can pretty much take on most other things apart from tanks at range.
Yeah. And
I think it's a very good unit. With the the radar does kind of let it down because it does get picked off by seed very easily, especially considering like the miss or like it takes multiple shots to shoot down an aircraft. But it definitely has like the power to be extremely effective because of its high rate of fire and the large rounds that it fires.
Yeah, I remember when these first came out in the DLC, everyone was charging forward. They had a longer range there, I think.
Yeah,
they
originally had a longer range.
Yeah, they were taking out all the tanks and everything. But now people tend to bring them out mid game because they wait until the seed aircraft have been shot down and then they tend to bring them out then. I've noticed.
Yeah, I also think they lowered the availability of them, so you couldn't bring in as many.
Yeah, I think that was definitely needed. What else have you got, Silver?
Finally, you guys may shake your head again. I got the SKH M109G 50-point artillery.
Yeah.
Because I kind of just like the scatter fire of artillery. The wide dispersion is good, like I said, for if you know there are troops in a forest, but you don't know where in that forest they're in, it's good to just hit the whole thing. Or the same thing for a small town, if there's infantry in there, but you don't know which building cluster they're in, just artillery at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same premise like as before. Like the M09 or M109A3, it has double range, but it has half the dispersion because it's longer range.
Right.
Like that's how it works. So you're just paying 50 points for more range rather than less dispersion.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay, and that's it, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, Vulcan.
I have the EOTS Hawk, of course. I have the automatic. I have one card of the M727I Hawks as well. And these are obviously the radar Hawks, the standard ones with their 50% accuracy and 4,200 meter range. I've got these hardened just to make them a little bit more accurate. And yeah, just have them to bulk out my AA really.
Yeah.
And then I also have the even cheaper ones, the M727 normal Hawks.
Wow.
With them hardened as well. Again, more AA.
Yeah.
You really hate planes with the Denmark, don't you?
Yeah, well the thing is I tend to pick up on a lot of radar AA now because I've got more used to turning it off. But the thing is with Hawks, especially 40-point Hawks, you don't need to turn them off because you can have so many of them. And it definitely catches people out. They bring in their seaplanes and they get shot down and then you don't have to worry about them anymore. So
right.
that's the beauty of having lots of radar.
I suppose if you have four or six of them and then two of them get taken out, but you take out their seed aircraft, it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, because they're never going to be flying planes again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Good point. And that's it. They've got artillery?
I do have a card of the SKH M109A3s.
Yeah.
Just for the long range artillery.
Yeah, I've got those as well, set of 4 of those. And of course I've got the EOTS Hawks, and of course I've got the automatics. But I've also got the same as SilverRaptor. I've got a set of the higher dispersion artillery, the little puggy things as well. Mainly because I was rushing to finish the deck off and couldn't think what else to put the points on. So I got a couple of sets of those as well. So I am loaded with artillery. I'm just not going to have enough supply for it, basically. I'm going to use my my high dispersion artillery as long range mortars.
I think my point isn't valid for these because I think I'm getting it switched the wrong way around. Like there is an example I think in the US decks where the M109 that's cheaper has less dispersion than the one that's more expensive.
Right.
And the range doubles in order to compensate for that.
Okay. Yeah,
but
I think
this
is
time
just,
it's the other way round.
Yeah, it's a shorter
So you're
barrel
actually
and
you're getting longer range and less dispersion rather than shorter range and more dispersion.
Right.
Right, but I got these things for its dispersion. Like I said.
He gets it, and I thought the same. I didn't like their mortars.
No,
I
was just correcting my point because I noticed that it's the wrong way around.
I thought that the mortars were really short range. I don't like short range mortars. They're too easy to pick off. So I went for these kind of as a long range mortar, even though they're an artillery piece. But yeah, they're only 50 points after all. They come with 28 rounds. So yeah, we'll see if I bring them in or not. Probably be a last resort kind of thing. So anyway, I'm rambling on. Let's move on to the tanks. And was it Vulcan?
I have 2 cards of the Leopard 1A5 DKs.
The best tank they have.
Yeah, I've got them both as hardened.
Me
because
too.
You may as well. You've got plenty of availability to work with. Then I have a card of the Centurion Mark 5 II DKs. I have these hardened, reasonably good value for money. Not as good as the Swedish unit because they do suffer from less accuracy than the Swedish units. Only 45% instead of 50% in this case, for the same price that is. And just still a solid unit though for supporting your infantry. I even have the Centurion 105mm as well. They have, I have them hardened again, and I also have the Centurion 84mm. Basically, just so I have a tank for all sorts of scenarios, and they're always great for supporting infantry because of their high front armor, which can basically take plenty of shots from the pesky infantry.
Yep.
So yeah, and they have 3 HE power, not as good as like a T72 with 4, but still good enough to help out, especially with the 8 rounds per minute.
Okay, cool. Silver.
Like I said, I also got the Leopard 1A5, 2 stacks of hardened. I also then got the Leopard 1A3 DK over the Centurion because it's 5 points cheaper. Slightly more accurate gun, even though it has 1 less AP power, but it also has better speed off-road and better autonomy. So it's basically similar to the Centurion. I just went a little bit more cheaper in value of mobility than the 1 extra armor protection.
And that's it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I got the 2 Leopards on hardened as well, and I went for the Leopard 1A3 DK over the Centurion as well for kind of the same reason. It's a little bit cheaper. You don't get this quite the same punch with it, but it's just the speed. And I thought Vulcan might go for that because of the speed, actually, because normally you like your flexibility as far as speed's concerned, and those Centurions are just a bit sluggish for my liking.
See, the thing is that the thing that I like about the Centurions, and something that they've always been used for in Wargame Red Dragon, is just supporting infantry.
Yeah.
And you can get them very close, and they will not die.
Yeah, they've got that little bit
whereas
of
like a
extra
Leopard
armor.
shot in a side armor with 3 side armor is just not good enough.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get a Centurion 84mm with 5 front side armor for only 25 points. So definitely worth picking up on against infantry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the reconnaissance. Silver, what have you got for your reconnaissance?
I got 2 stacks of the Jaegers and Lynxes. I got the regular Jaegers, not the 90s, because the Jaeger 90s, 5 points more, they have that better gun, but they have a slightly worse light machine gun. for close combat. It has a lower fire rate and accuracy and range, and I just wanted to have the better of light machine gun rather than just a very slightly better RPG, I guess.
Okay.
So I got 2 of those in Lynxes, so they're highly mobile, can move around. I also got the the Spee Joe Rovin M95 truck with the very good optics to put into like a forest, and then I also got the Cayuse helicopter for its very good optics as well.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Vulcan?
I have some of the Cayuse helicopters. I think 45 points for a very good helicopter. A very good optics helicopter is worth having. So I've got a card of those. I have the Jaeger 90s again because I overlooked the fact that the cheaper ones were better for the machine gun, which I'll probably switch out. And then I do have now these things, the Wildcats, right? I really, really like these units, and the only reason I like them so much is because they have done so well for me in previous games. Like, they have 2 AP power for a autocannon, right? Which is 1 more than normal. And that can make them destroy APCs incredibly fast. Now, they don't have the best rate of fire, 562 rounds per minute is still fast, though.
Yeah.
And
They'll still
with
have
1 HE power at 1,750 meter range, can catch out infantry as well. I think these are really, really good, closer support units for supporting pushes across rivers and places where these things are never going to be in AT weapon range from infantry, but you can keep them at a distance where they're sort of sat on the other side of the river firing across, and they can take out the enemy APCs and infantry and just pick off random things every now and then, and they really pay themselves off very quickly because they're only 20 points and they don't get focused very much.
Right.
So that's why I really like them.
They can also float across that river later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why they're on that side of the river, because they can just float across. And they're actually reasonably fast off road, even though they look like a big chunk of metal.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I also have a card of the Speditorwagen M95, very good Recon trucks. 110 km/h speed off road is just insane. And just useful in general for having a look around the battlefield. These things can speed around. Yeah,
I didn't really pick up on them. They look pretty decent. Yeah. I've got so I didn't take them, unfortunately. I could have tempted to swap them out for a set of artillery, but I'll leave my artillery in. I've got the Chaos helicopter. I'm not over keen on this, but it's the best of the 2 choppers, really. Pretty nippy, very good optics. It's just very squishy, isn't it? Really, but it's only 45 points, I guess.
Both helicopters are squishy.
Yeah. And then I got the Jaegeras in the Lynxes, of course. I got the standard ones, which I have just this second swapped out for the standard ones. Thanks for that explanation there, Silver. I've got those, and then. Now, I got these little 10-point things, which I took a look at. I've never used them before, but I thought I'd give them a go. The M4101. They are pretty nippy. The autonomy is terrible, but they've got an AP power of 8 and a 10-point unit, which I thought might come in useful. I'm not sure where with the range. Maybe putting it through forests where there's some medium tanks running through or something. I don't know, but
they are pretty decent off-road too. Speed.
Yeah. They're okay in the tank role because you get a lot more of them. In the recon role, you don't get enough of them in order to do those like the 4 tank sort of pushes through the forest, and you just sort of overwhelm the medium tanks with lots of firepower. Yeah. And the trouble is with the M41A1 is that they only have 1,575 meter range with 2 HE power, so they get caught out with infantry very, very easily.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm tempted to swap them out for those nice ones you mentioned at the end there. Actually, I think I'll keep them in.
Are you sure the Wildcat's calling your name?
No, I'll leave them. Right, let's move on to the vehicles. Who's going first on the vehicles?
Silver.
No, I probably did the Recon.
Oh, okay.
Go
Well,
on. You have the pleasure,
have-
Vulcan.
very similar to the Vilcat, the M92 PNMK.
I
Again,
got
for the
this
same
too.
reason as the Vilcat. All the same sort of thing. 2 AP power, 1 HE power at 25 points. Very, very good value for money. It's actually more expensive than the Vilcat, and it's basically the same. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but I just like to have more of them. Then I have a card of the M113A122, 70% accurate, 2,625 meter range, 25 AP power. HGem, really, really useful for, picking off certain things here and there. It's going to get killed pretty easily if it gets hit by anything because it's not the most armored thing, but, definitely a good weapon system to make use of.
Yep, cool. Silver.
I got the same thing for both of them. I got both. I got the autocannon truck at train, and I got the TOW 2 at train. So.
Yeah, I got the same, the TOW 2 truck, the 70-pointer, but I got 2 sets of them at hardened just to up their accuracy even more. Did I? Yes, I did. So they shouldn't miss, and then hopefully they don't get killed once they're fired. And I also got, because I couldn't really choose anything else, I couldn't find anything else I liked, I got the Lard TOW 2s, which are very, very squishy again. But again, whether I'll bring these out, I don't know. They'll kind of be of a last resort for defending.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of anti-tank in your vehicle section.
Yeah.
Both my cards are hard, and that's worth saying as well.
All right,
because, again, availability allows you to do so in national decks.
So moving on to the helicopters, what they're worth. Let's have a look at these. Who's first?
I think that's me. First, I got 2 cards of hardened TOW 2 missiles for these helicopters. These will be my anti-tank because they're very accurate and mobile at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I also got the Fennec 20mm autocannons. Autocannons on helicopters, especially cheap ones, I just think are really good because they can kind of directly engage other helicopters that if there's not very much infrared missiles around. And there are some occasions where it's basically a machine gun versus autocannon fight. I've seen it happen. It's just fun to use.
Okay. Vulcan.
Yeah, mine's exactly the same. Now, the reason I love the Fennec 20mm is they remind me so much of like the Gazelles. I like the Gazelle 30 or 20mm you can get as well. And in European Escalation, the Gazelle was the only aircraft in the game that could engage other helicopters. Like, because in European Escalation there wasn't aircraft, there was just helicopters, and the Gazelle was the only one that could engage other helicopters, and the autocannon just like cut down enemy helicopters at close range. You just fly them right up next to them and they die like instantly. And that's exactly the same thing you can do with these against any sort of transport helicopter that's coming in. They're also great for, like a sneaky flank. They have the AP power in order to snipe those CVs in the back line. So yeah, definitely a good reason to have them.
Yeah, cool. And I've got both of those as well, both one hardened also. Excellent. So we'll move on swiftly to the aircraft, as I've got exactly the same helicopters. And I think it's Vulcan. You're going to kick off with the aircraft?
Yeah, I have the 3 F-16As. I've got the Block 5, the Block 15, and the MLU.
Okay.
The F-16A Block 5, those cluster bombs, you get 12 of them with a 20 ECM, 1,000 kilometer per hour speed, basically really, really quick, and it's going to get out of there very quickly. But 6 AP power, 12 of them. Not much is going to survive that's armor, basically.
Yeah.
So very, very good. Then I have the Block 15s, best air superiority fighter they have, so you may as well take it. Very, very good value for money. This is 120 points, 1,000 kilometer per hour speed, 30% ECM, and does have some very accurate missiles. Now, it can suffer from being SEMAC radar on its Sparrow missile, but still definitely a good fighter.
My only issue with the Block 15s is that they only have 2 of each missile, so you basically one volley and then you're done.
Yeah, but
you're done, son. Go back home.
Yeah, if they have auto evac, they normally get out of there anyway. So that's fine.
For me, it prevent me just sending them into the enemy territory, to be honest.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
They don't continue. Yeah, they don't continue a dogfight because they normally just use their missiles and they get out of there. Yeah, they scramble, which is great. Then I have the F-16A MLU. 40% ECM, 1,000 km/h speed, 26 AP power, 50% accurate infrared missiles. Obviously great for taking out those pesky heavy tanks that will definitely cut down on this deck. Because you're not going to be lasting very long against the heavies, so you definitely need this.
Unless you're bubble with all those tow missiles sitting in your vehicle, Stab.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
I think that's another reason why you have to have the cluster munitions on this, in my opinion, is because like anything heavy is definitely gonna like prevent this deck from doing anything. So yeah, if you're gonna come up against Modernas, for example, you're gonna have a hard time unless you got those cluster munitions and the MLU. Then finally, to finish off, I have the F-35 Recon ones with the 15 HE power, 500 kilogram bombs.
Six of them.
Just a great bomber. Yeah, and you have 6 bombs, which is a lot. 30% ECM, 900 km/h speed, a very solid bomber.
Yeah, they're not really
help you break those front lines.
Are they? Look, they're on the ground.
But yeah, I guess it's just where it's like clipped into the ground, isn't it? Yeah, they are a bit low.
I can see this trying to take off and the bomb blowing up on the runway.
Bombs blowing up, yeah, and sparking.
Cool. Good stuff. And is that your 4 aircraft, yeah?
Yes, indeed.
What about you, Silver? Have you got anything different?
I also got the Draken Wands because they have 6 500 kilogram bombs. I also got the F-16A Block 5 with those cluster bombs as well because that's a lot of cluster.
Yeah.
I also got the Starfighters with their 4 napalm bombs. I just think napalm is very good for just blocking an area, line of sight, or just preventing the enemy from really advancing until the napalm's perked itself up. It gives you like valuable time in case you get caught out.
Napalm is excellent. In a decent plane. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And then you guys are probably going to laugh, but I got the F-100D with its 76 rocket pods. It's got like the most rocket pods of any of the aircraft I see with rocket pods. So the very saturated area with the rocket, more chance of killing power. And I actually like rocket planes because they can reload really quickly and you can send them back into the fray. Like really fast to reload, refuel, rearm.
I really like the F-100D, but the one thing that you have to be really careful with is that they only fire half their rockets on a volley.
Well, thanks for letting me know that before I find it out.
So they'll fire 32, which is still a lot.
And then you just fly them around again for another pass.
But they'll fly around, and in some cases, you definitely don't want a plane with no ECM hanging about. So
yeah.
You got to be careful with that.
Especially with the terrible turning radius. So thanks for warning me about that, Vulcan.
Yeah, they look really old-fashioned as well. 1956.
Yeah.
Looks like a goldfish from the front.
It does. Finally, I also got the F-16A MLU, slightly for the anti-tank, but I actually kind of got this for my air superiority fighter because it's got 4 AMRAAM missiles. I kind of just hold back and just do the fire and forget, and if they try to come after me, I can kind of lead them into my anti-air superiority sector. So it's basically kind of a bait and shoot kind of fighter, as well as be able to take out tanks. So
yeah, definitely multi-role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I got all the blocks, all the F-16s, the 3 exactly the same, and the Draken WDNS exactly the same as Vulcan's got. And that's it for my planes as well. So it's time again to choose your favourite unit. Now, I've got one in mind.
Go first, then.
Shall I go first?
Go first.
I'm going for, because I hate fiddling around with radar, this deck has got the best anti-air unit in the EOTS Hawk.
Yeah,
That's my unit of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
it is a really good unit for sure.
Yeah. So what's yours then, Vulcan? You can have the same one if you want.
I don't know. I guess I'll give the automatic an honourable mention. You know, I think this is a really strong
decent
unit if you use it correctly and make sure it doesn't get taken out by seed. It's really strong. The biggest issue is the seed. If people are using seed and you have these turned off, they are completely ineffective because they can't even fire at ground units while they are turned off. So you have to be really careful with them, but played correctly can be extremely strong.
Yeah, I was thinking about choosing these as my best unit, but I didn't because they just get on my nerves in games. That's the only reason. They really get on my nerves.
Everyone chooses the Otis Hawks.
Yeah.
Well, since you guys chose the two best units, I'm going to just choose the F-16A MLU because it's just a very good multi-role fighter for its purpose.
Possibly one of the best in the game, more like multi-role fighters for sure. This was another one that I was thinking of maybe picking. So definitely a great aircraft. And with that, I'd like to thank Bubblebox and SilverRaptor for allowing me to help them with their Do Decks videos. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then please make sure that you check out the playlist in the description below. It will take you to all of the videos they have done so far on Wargame Red Dragon decks. So gameplays using these decks will be up soon. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.